you. All right, so we recording this thing. So welcome to the show. It's our second interview. I'm Mr. GQ, as we know it. You know Mike already. And tell the people, who you are. Tell us, kind of what you got going on. Like give the folks an idea of, who we're talking to today.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for having me on this platform. Super excited to be here and get this interview kind of under the way. My name is London Lawrence. I am a certified lifestyle consultant. Just to give you guys a background on me and kind of what my purpose is, I'm representing Ascension Lifestyle Consulting, and we're a lifestyle brand all about living in your truth, being the best version of yourself, and really amplifying what your experience here on earth is.
Okay. That's different. I got to say right after that's completely different. Like it's the way you explained it. I was like, how do I quantify that?
Yeah.
But I like it. So when you talk about going into, I guess, like the lifestyle and whatnot, like what is it that you do that's completely different from something somebody may, let's say, like if they're looking on Google or something like that, what makes what you're doing just different?
Right. So I guess I can go a little bit into the kind of process of what led me to this point and really what makes our process a little bit different. So basically my whole life, I've been a talker. I've been a people person. I like to consider myself to be a good energy and really a good vibe. And really, I've always amplified others, whether it be through like creativity, fashion, music, whatever the creative creation is, really showing people how to be authentic to themselves and also to their craft. But what I did was about, everybody's been going through like the little pandemic for the last 2 years or so. So what I did in that time, is really focus on how can I be the best version of me, but then also take what I'm doing and who I am as an individual and amplify others. And so I created Ascension Lifestyle Consulting. And so for people that aren't familiar with what a lifestyle consultant is or what a life coach is, it's not the same thing as a counselor. Let me say that because I'm not that guy. But what we do is work with you. It's good, right?
good caveat.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in complement and not replacement of. And essentially what we do is we work with our clients to get you to where you want to be. I offer 5 selective services that go with styling. It goes with spiritual development, personal development, professional development. And also I'm a big fan of travel for a variety of different reasons. But essentially what I do is work with you to reach what that next version of you is. Kind of like a Pokemon is how I like to think about it, right? So we're all in level 1 when we come into this thing, trying to figure out who we are, what we want to do, and how we want to do it. My job is to train you and equip you with the skills to do so and to be the best version of yourself.
Okay, so we go back to this Pokemon reference. So you trying to get to like the level 2 evolution, or we trying to get to the final evolution?
I'm trying to get you to be the biggest, baddest Pokemon that's gonna get the most bang for your buck in life. That's
okay,
what I'm.
We in that mega evolution phase. All right.
Yeah, you want to catch them all. Yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So I like that. So what led you to this place? Like where? I'm obviously, we went through high school, we all went through college. Right. So what in your life started to steer you towards where you are now?
I would definitely say being aware of purpose. And I think that people pass through purpose every single day. For me, it was just being constantly made aware that I have a gift of gab, or the gift to be able to talk and to make people kind of feel comfortable in spaces that they typically wouldn't feel comfortable in. And so for me, the advice that I give to people is really about being aware of who you are as a person and what mark you want to leave on this earth, in this world, and how can you be as transparent as possible and impact as many people as possible. So as I went through college, as I'm still in college to finish my master's now, it's really about being a speaker, and not speaker in a sense of talking, but being a speaker and amplifying other people's voices and just being able to see where I've been, as a young Black man, to where I want to be as far as working on legacy work. So really just being keyed into the jobs that I had. I mean, I've done everything from working with students to working with adults, to working with those of low socioeconomic standing to high socioeconomic standing. And one thing is the same: we all want to be the best version of ourselves. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just picking up everything you're putting down. I'm just like, I'm soaking it up. You might as well call me SpongeBob today, because I'm just soaking it up.
So, oh man, you gonna get a lesson today, bro.
See, what you mean? I got my notes ready.
Y'all are funny.
So I guess so if the people wanted, Lord, y'all gotta excuse Kelly, me and she acting a clown today. So if people wanted to find you, are you on, Instagram, Facebook? Like how are people able to reach you to, be aware of
Yeah.
your services and whatnot?
Yeah, so it's two different things. My personal Instagram account, and I have to say too, a part of this job is about being transparent and being able to make connections. And I think that's why we all love social media so much, is because it gives us a transparent lens. So my personal Instagram is going to be Lundo, Londo, and then Law, Law, all together. But then also, aside from that, the business, the brand, right? Ascension Lifestyle Consulting. It can be followed at Ascension Lifestyle Co., just like Tiffany and Co.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah, your marketing game is kind of A1, man. I'll lie to you.
Yeah, I don't want them to sue me, but that's how we're gonna get it together. But it's Ascension Lifestyle Co. And you can go to our website, www.ascensionlifestyleconsulting.com. And on there, you'll see a variety of different resources. I'm working on putting up some event stuff from the event we just had on there. And it's just really an all-encompassing experience of what lifestyle consulting is, who I am, and who we all can become.
Okay. Most definitely, and we appreciate filling out the guest profile. So for those who are watching the interview, we will have his entire profile be linked to this interview, so you'll have all the links to all this stuff, the Facebook, the website, it'll all be there. So y'all definitely make sure y'all check him out. Y'all hearing what he's putting out right now. So if you need a little change in your life, look like we done found that change for you right here and now. So
you ain't got to go to church to get it. All you got to do is tune into this podcast, watch this show, share it, support too, because support is everything, you guys. And again, thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm sure Mike has told you, we've been trying to do this podcast thing for too long. We're gonna say too long.
Yeah.
And we've always had these amazing. We'll mess around and have a 30-40 minute conversation on the phone and be like, man, why didn't we record this? Like, it'd be like that's really how the conversation go.
Don't do that.
But tell me the lotto. But now that we finally got it going, and I'm sure you heard us talk about it before. Our big thing is we about the little guy.
Right.
So we want to support everybody that's just like us. Everybody trying to come up, everybody trying to eat. We just trying to feed everybody.
Right.
It's plenty of food in this world for all of us to eat.
That's the truth.
Even if there are those that want to eat more than others, hey man, we're gonna make sure we share.
Buffet.
Hey, it is a buffet. We're gonna all get full too with the go plate. So
yes.
I like it. So man. What you got, Michael?
Brother Lawrence, that's how I'm gonna start this thing off with.
Brother Michael, we in this thing, right?
Hey man, look, I know you are one of the cleanest dressed brothers ever in this area. I want to know what goes on in your head when you're matching colors.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. So, let me give you a little backstory of how I met Michael. Years ago, as I was on this journey to become the person I am today, we started something called the Network. And it was just really essentially a group of like-minded individuals, POCs, people of color that wanted to make a change in the community. And I met Micah through Justin, which was a mutual friend that we had, and also one of the members of the network. And so I have to say, before I get into this about me, giving all props to you for just continuously doing what you got to do and being innovative in your craft. And so again, that's why I have to say thank you guys so much for allowing me on your platform, because it's one thing to occupy a space, but it's another to pull other people in and be able to plug them and share the same respective light. So let me just, again, kudos to you guys for doing that. But when looking at like colors and fashion, for me, I think it's super important to play with color. I do not like bright colors. I'm a brown skinned man. I think that you have to know what works best for you, especially with like color tones, palettes, shapes, sizes, textures. And for the average person, it's like, okay, what's he talking about? It's really about knowing what complements your skin tone and what you feel comfortable in wearing. I think that you have to take risk with fashion in order to get the reward out of it. And I always like a fedora too. So if you look on like my Instagram or like any kind of photos that I do, I always try to have like a nice little side cap with like a lot of jewelry and a fedora. Those are like my two little, and the necklaces too. Just always having a little pizzazz too.
I'm with that. Now I'm slowly but surely working on my hat game. Like, I didn't give myself in total this name, Mr. GQ. I got it from Mike and a couple in our little brotherhood of people. Because just like you said, we brown skinned, we us chocolate complected brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We do got to be careful with our colors. I think the brightest color you'll probably catch me in is pink. And if it ain't Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I'm probably not rocking pink very much. But I like my neutrals. I'm a big fan of my neutrals because I feel like they go really well. That mocha color on top of the chocolate, it blends well, So I like that. And with my suits, I love a good gray suit. I don't know what it is about the color gray. Me and gray, we just send me along. Like it's just well, because you know gray. Gray is like that. You go with a gray jacket, your shirt color combination is almost endless. It's not a lot of stuff that gray doesn't go with. So you could almost get away with murder rocking gray.
That's it.
That's true. And they got 50 shades, I've heard. So you definitely
I've heard too. I ain't experienced it, but I've heard. So we're gonna keep them shades wherever they're at.
We go hit them. Come on.
Exactly. No, but no, I'm a big fan. This is good stuff. I feel like a lot more people need this kind of interaction. Like they need this kind of influence in their life.
Right. And no, I think yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, you
you do your thing. I'm bouncing off of you here.
No, I was just gonna say that I think that it's super important to be expressive. I think that a lot of people have a lot to say, but they're scared to say it. But the reality of it is we all have the same fears as well as the same aspirations in regards to just being the best version of ourselves. And so how do we put that into real world, into real application? Is by having conversations like this and exchanging ideas, and not being in spaces in which we're scared to amplify other voices and then also to connect. And so the biggest problem in the world today for me is that there's a lack of understanding and compassion when it comes to having communication, not just talking, but being able to not only receive information, but also to give information, in which we all need in order to function in this world, right? And it's the same thing for me when I'm thinking about fashion, or if I'm thinking about talking, the approach is always the same. How do I get the biggest bang for my buck? How do I get the biggest impact in the amount of time that I have? And when you understand impact and influence, it makes it such a bigger and better picture of what you're creating for your legacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with being about that legacy, man.
You know, a couple of weeks back, you had the Essential Lifestyle business launch. And by the way, hats off to you, because that's my favorite event of the year so far, even through all the Caribbean festivals and everything that I've done. That's been my favorite event.
Thank you.
What actually went in the process of you putting this together? Because it was something completely different than what everybody else does.
Yeah. Well, you know, this process, right? I'm a creative. I like to think about myself as an artist. And as Erykah Badu says, and I'm sensitive about my so this process, yeah, look, y'all like that, huh? Yeah, this process for me started a year ago. And it started in a time in which I wanted to figure out, how do I curate a feeling and a vibe? And me and Mike talk about this all the time. It's like being able to just go into a place and feel relaxed. Or if you're listening to your favorite song, we have our little musical debates, how that song kind of takes you to a different place. So I really wanted to play with like all the different elements, from what you touched to what you felt like, from the music to what you heard to what you smelled. All those things, all those key elements were super important to me. And so I researched. I'm a big researcher. Anytime that I have an event that I have to go to, or if I have to go out of town, an outfit, it's very important to be knowledgeable in the subject of what you're presenting, right? So I can't tell you that I'm a lifestyle consultant and me not be certified. Now I got to speak to this point, because this is going to go into how I came about doing the event. We live in a very instantaneous generation. People want to be hairstylists, they want to be barbers, and they don't have the knowledge. And just because you have the God-given talent, you still have to refine your tool. Beyonce, okay? Beyonce of 2022 is not the Beyonce of 1997. That's because it's refinement that goes into the process. So when we go into having these titles, we have to understand the knowledge that has to be acquired in order to give the best service. So it took me a year to really get the event together, because I had to become certified. Yes, I'm in school. Yes, my job, my 9-to-5 job encompasses what I do, but it took me a year of planning. It took me a year of finding the appropriate venue. And there was a mishap, you know what I'm saying? Even in the perfection that was the event, it was hot. We're in Texas, number one, but number two, it was hot in there. And I swear it's super easy. So even with the little things that happened, I had to have the bigger picture in plan. So it took, for me, out of everything that I've done, and I've done a lot, thank God, but it took connecting with people from my past that allowed me to get to my future and where I currently am. So it took me reaching out to Michael, who's been phenomenal since I've known Michael. It took me working with models that I've worked with in photo shoots, past and present, in order to put it together. But also within the glamour of it all, within all the cool stuff that I get to do, it's always about being humble and being able to connect to where I come from. So for me, what that event looks like for me, or what it looked like, excuse me, was taking people on a journey of, from when I started with like the fashion and doing the thrift store type of thing online, to where I currently am, you know, being authentic. You remember all that? So
I remember all that.
it took me doing a vision board. It took me and Micah having conversations. It took us having these really cool, crafty ideas and bouncing ideas off each other from sounds and mixers. It just took everything. I took all my experience and I was able to craft that moment. So that's what it took. Just being, intentional. Yeah.
I like that. I like
And
your
of
little.
course,
I like this Anthony Hamilton reference you dropped in there. He said, "Come where I come from."
It's the
hey,
hat.
listen,
It's got to be the hat because I'm an old soul. And I caught a hello. Caught that reference.
I tell you what, man, you are one of the few where I could say, besides Mr. GQ, you are one of the few people I can call and talk to about music because you understand music. Like when we put this, London gave me an idea of what he wanted. I took and went on Spotify. I was like, look, I started adding tracks. I want you to add tracks in. Anything that you think needs to be played, go ahead and add it in. We added in the sound selection. I thought was amazing during the event. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was on point.
Yeah, no, yeah. And people wanted to listen to the music. People wanted to, and that was the whole thing, right? Like, I'm super big on leaving people better than where you found them. And for me, that music is a soundtrack of our lives. You understand? Music, when you hear it, it ties you back to a memory. It takes you back to a time. And so, one, for us to get that vibe right and for it to be such a contingent thing that people were like, dang, I want to have this playlist in my car. Like, I want you to hear that song and it take you back to this day because it wasn't just about me and the celebration of what I've done, but it's a celebration of what we all can do and all that we can become. So the music is just, I'm talking about Erykah Badu. I'm talking about Anthony Hamilton. I'm talking about music that just moves your spirit and that's good for you and that's good to you. It's like
soul music.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, soul music, man. It's a lost art, man.
Yeah.
Man, Michael, look, we done had that conversation. That still hurts. That still hurts, man. The original R&B is just there's no more, unfortunately. What they call R&B nowadays is definitely not what it was.
Right. It's lost that touch. Yeah.
Yeah. These kids don't know what they're missing, man.
Nah. They don't. The connection of music ain't the same no more.
Man, because you ain't really got those what we call them ballads. We ain't really got those anymore. Like you still have anthems. I don't think anthems are going to, but any genre can make an anthem. Right. But R&B was the ones that had those ballads. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear it. Like we talking about Music Soul Child last episode. Like talking, like when you hear it, you're just like, man, your heart starts singing. You're like, okay, this is it right here. Like we was all in high school. Life Jennings came out. It was a ballad. Like we don't have that kind of musical influence anymore. Not to that degree. It's everything is around mostly, it's hip hop, it's whatever we call rap these days. Country's gotten that much bigger. Now you got pop country, trap country.
It's a blending, but you know what? What I will tell you is this. This is what I think about music. And this is such an interesting topic. Because I was talking to somebody the other day about artistic growth, right? And so not just in music, but where we are now as a people, artistic growth is so rare because what people tend to do is they find one sound. And there's no experimentation. Back in the day, an artist had the opportunity to grow and you can see growth. These artists now are very steadfast and like, okay, I'm gonna make even Cardi B. If you're a Cardi fan, I like Cardi. I think that aesthetically she's amazing. Her team does a great job. But when I look at music and I listen to references, a lot of the stuff sounds very similar, even in the flow and it's contingent on the music. But it's because she has a formula that works for her. Back in the day, when you had a little Kim record come on, I just have to use them because, 2 different eras, you can't compare the two, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. But there was artistic development and growth. And also, we like stuff instantaneous. Like I will say the visuals have become a lot better. You don't see nobody in 100-degree weather and, the puffer no more. You don't see that. But
what a time to be alive.
Yeah, we got that. But it's the same thing with, fashion. It's the same thing about experimentation. You have to be willing to go outside of the normal comfort zone in order to get to whatever that next level is. And that's why I always urge people to, if you're passionate about something, like the Beyonce video, I keep saying Beyonce, Micah, yeah.
We know you're a big fan of it. It's okay.
You can't just, and I have to use it because her artistry is just so great, but you can't just complain about it and then not be the change. And you have to dare to dream. You have to dare to create. And if there's not a table that you can sit at, you may need to build your own. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but that impact is going to last a lot longer as well.
So let me ask you this then. Do you keep up any with the NBA?
No. Oh, but I don't. I'm gonna tell you, I don't, but I know key people. And the reason why I don't is because I barely keep up with me. Now, it's all put together, but I'm gonna tell you this. There's a picture of Whitney Houston in like that brown fur coat looking real crazy coming out the store. That's me in real time because it's a lot of things constantly going on. So if I catch it, you know what I'm talking about?
I understand that. I mean, my new normal outside job, because I don't know if Mike had told you very much about me. I'm a recruiter in the Army now.
Wow. Yeah.
So I go from uniform to this current t-shirt and shorts that I'm rocking right now because that's just, what it is. I'm comfortable. I've been in a 10-pound suit all day. I'm trying to relax,
Right.
And it's funny, like we equate, like, at the end of the day, long military work, when we take the boots off, it's the same thing as like when a woman come home and she take that bra off. It's the same damn thing. Because when them boots come off, boy, it's just whoo.
Yes.
Like my mom, because I just remember my mom used to come on, she's like, man, boy, my dog is barking. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Flash forward, I'm 32 years old. I know exactly what the boy, my dog's be barking loud in the mug now.
Yeah, and you can't put them in a cage because you got to pull them back.
No, because I got to walk around the house.
Oh, man.
No, it's true. The things that you learn as you get older, like, so many life lessons that we ignore until we get to the age in which we're like, it was some truth in that. It was something that your mama, your grandmama, your auntie, your uncle, the pastor said that resonated with you. And it's so interesting as we get older, and not even necessarily older, we get better, okay? It's like a wine. It's a process. As you find yourself to be the better version of you, so many life lessons that they taught us stick with us. And we're like, now, because let me tell you, I used to go out, for example, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, any kind of social events, I could do it all the time. If I'm out of town, then I feel like it's a work type of thing. And so I'll make my presence known in that. But let me tell you something, me at home, you get me on Friday, you will never get me out on Saturday unless I'm doing something real special. You get me out on a Friday and a Sunday, but I'm gonna be in my bed with my heating pad at like 6 o'clock. And that's me in the road without the hat on top of my head, the jewelry on the side.
No.
That's real life.
And look, Michael, we used to be out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And look, Sunday be at the shoot playing pool, watching football because they had happy hour all day Sunday.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like, I'm a big brunch guy now. Like brunch is like my go-to. That's my we'll call that my happy place, if you will.
That's London right there. London love them brunch.
I love them brunch. We gotta go to brunch next time I'm in town. We definitely have to do that.
Say less. We can make it into a whole thing.
Yes, I'm a brunch. Like I want to. So next year, but I'm thinking this is a little VIP information. Y'all the first people I'm telling this. So every year I want to do this is exclusive. Boom. Every year I want to do a different style ascension event. And so this year was really about the launch and really getting people to understand like what I do. Because that's the big question. People always want to know, what do I do? So I thought it was super important to cap it off. But next year I want to do like a brunch, almost like a picnic type of thing with like champagne, and maybe do like a color palette or a color theme, like all brown brunch or something like that. And different shades of brown, depending on this heat, because if it's hot like this, it ain't gonna happen. Maybe like a 10 or something. But,
right.
Have people come out and really just enjoy brunch. I think it's my favorite thing.
You better do that in April.
I know, I need to see.
I'm trying to tell you. But
my anniversary is not until June, Micah. That's the thing. It's Juneteenth weekend is the actual anniversary of.
Yeah.
That's a tough time.
No, it definitely is. But I know. So the last few. Okay, so I'm big on holidays. That's one thing that I'm super big on, like Christmases. And I don't have a house yet. I have a loft in Austin, but I'm really big on like hosting my family and friends for like the holidays and making like this real big festive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Juneteenth, since it's been a thing, I've been able to like go and travel during it. So I'll try to, really celebrate Juneteenth with the opportunity of knowing that, our ancestors couldn't do it. So we have to take the opportunity. And do it. So yeah, we're gonna see though. We're gonna talk about it. Mike, I gotta get you guys.
So since we're doing that, okay, so let's so we in this networking thing. You already know, Mike is in his thing when it comes to all the DJ and all the music. When you get to talking about this brunch and you talked about colors and aesthetics, well, I don't know if he told you, but I'm a bartender. So we start talking about pretty drinks, pretty colors.
Come on.
I might be your guy.
You might be. That's what I'm saying. You gotta have those conversations so that you open up those pathways and again, we helping each other out. And that's the main thing about being small businesses, being people of color. And I want to say always, when I have the opportunity to say it, that as you guys made such a great point of saying, even leading by example and having me here today, there is enough food for everybody to eat. There's enough opportunity for everybody to grow and to be the best version of themselves. You don't have to compete with nobody but yourself. And when you find your lane and you occupy that lane authentically, I guarantee you the best will come for you. When you congratulate people, it costs nothing to be congratulatory to somebody and to say, hey, you're doing a good job. Do that. Do that, and don't be scared to do that. And don't let nobody detour you from what you're doing the way that you're doing it. Because how you do it, nobody else is going to do it that way. It could be a million
Absolutely not.
that DJ, that bartend, that recruit, that do all the wonderful work that you're doing, but they're not you. And so what you hold in that space is your opportunity and your power, and never give your power to anybody. I'm gonna be that with that. Boom.
Right.
You know what?
But there's facts in there.
Hey, you know what? I want to touch on something real quick because I know this is kind of old for you. But do you remember? I know you remember this. 5 o'clock somewhere. 5 o'clock.
do.
I want you to touch on because I don't know if I told you, but London had a podcast at one point.
Okay.
And he got to interview was it Tyson? I can't.
Tyson Beckford, yeah.
Yes.
Hey, man, that was one of my first like childhood idols, man. I wanted to be built like Tyson Beckford when I was a kid, man. I was like, my man was a male model. He had that chocolate on, he was bald, the muscular. You know, I was like, I can do that. I wasn't gonna go bald, I was gonna be faded up, but I was gonna have the physique part of it, you know. So I was gonna do that.
So let me tell you, the podcast thing was phenomenal. It didn't work because it was, and timing is so impeccable, y'all. I have to say that everything happens in divine timing according to how God or the higher power, whoever you call it, wants it to work. And so for me, me too, being a Black guy, I'm about to say a kid, being a Black guy, trying to figure out, where we stood in the world. Tyson Beckford was one of the first examples that I saw. It was also another Black guy from a show called S Club 7 way back in the day. I don't even know if you know about it, but it was a Black guy. His name was Bradley McIntosh, and it was very little representation. But Tyson Beckford is credited with being the first true male model, and he's a Black man. He still models and he looks still to be the same. And I want to say he has some family in Houston too. But anywho, 5 o'clock somewhere was a podcast I did like many years ago with one of my best friends. And the whole concept was relaxing after a long day over a cocktail. And so every episode have a different cocktail and we just be drinking and talking about like life. And it was so fun. But she didn't want to do it no more. And then also we just were in two different places and we weren't mature enough to handle what that looked like. And so we parted ways with it. But what I am going to do, this is another little exclusive, and I don't want to get one foot in front of the other before the door opens, but at a point, I do want to bring something back on my website called influencer interviews, where I talk to different influencers and talk about their process and what their creative journey looks like. But yeah, I think that's gonna be something so cool. And I'm gonna have you guys on there. As you know, y'all are pioneering. Y'all are on the charts. Y'all have hit the charts. That's when you'd have made it. Y'all are on the chart. Okay?
Hard work to get on them charts. We didn't have some.
Yeah, boy.
Boy, you want to talk about some trials and tribulations, boy? Because I think Micah said it best. I was like, boy, that season finale was not what it was supposed to be. That was you were talking about off script, boy. That was the pure definition of off script.
But you make it, when we get into these spaces, what I'll tell you, the mark of a true professional is when things ain't right, you still know that you have to deliver, and that you have an audience to really cultivate and to have, and you guys did that and you met that mark. And so the same thing about it, it's always going to be a trial and an error, but your ability to persist and to continue on is what makes you great. And so for me to see y'all have an idea, to execute that idea, to be, and let me tell you one thing about it, when you get on an official chart, that's why I would say anytime you get published, anytime you get any kind of official recognition, live in that, because that is so rare and so many people are vying for that spot. And there's somebody at home looking at you, wishing that they could be doing what you're doing. And so be a beacon to know that you're opening the door for somebody else and truly, really live in that. And I hope that y'all, I know you have, but as Oprah would say, I really hope that you've had that aha moment to know that y'all are here and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in a way that's true to you. And so I'm excited for y'all. I'm excited. Thank you for letting me be number 2 on this thing, And just at the beginning, I can't wait to see all the great content that you guys pump out and just to see it grow. And for y'all to continue to be on the charts and y'all gonna be number one, we're gonna claim it already because it's coming.
There you go.
Hey, we're gonna keep fighting, man. Cracking the top 100 was hard, but we
Yeah.
found a way. You know, it was hard, but we found a way. But they don't start. It doesn't start like generating where like you see it, like when you start searching for like your top until you crack like apparently like the top 40. That's when you start seeing it on the chart. Like if you scroll on your phone, so a little bit more work to do. You know, in time, you know, we'll keep doing what we're doing. We're in that that dead space when it comes to sports and whatnot now. You know, there's no NFL is currently happening. There's, you know, the NBA is doing whatever it is they're doing. We've got, you know, the USFL just ended, so we really got baseball, some NASCAR going on, Formula One. You know, some of the stuff that people aren't very interested in. So now we have to focus a lot more on our social issues or just the stuff we've been coming up with, the what ifs, and like we got some stuff for the ninth episode that's going, you know, kind of draw a little tribute to Houston with a couple of other things we got
It's
going on in there.
713 day. It's 713 day. Yeah.
So perfect timing for us to have 713 day because we
about that last week.
Oh yeah, so we got something dope. We got something dope for that. I'm sure we'll cause a little bit of a conversation just because.
Ooh, look, I'm gonna put this on there too. Now this is off the script, but I was on a cruise maybe like in May. I was on a cruise in May, and I
was about to say what month because you know you go on the most vacation.
It was May. So we ran into G-Man from the radio station. And so I was telling something good to get into, specifically for my music lovers. We were talking about, I feel like nowadays people give people the legend term a little bit too soon.
Yes.
So we were talking about the impact of Travis Scott compared to like, you know, a UGK or a Bun B. And so I was asking him with music because my friend was saying, well, Travis Scott's already a legend. Da, da, da. And I said, well, what are you basing it off of? And he was like, music sales. For me, it's impact. That's what we don't think about, that we need to think about. 20 to 30 years, are those songs going to be playable? And also, what is the impact as an artist? So with us being in Houston, from Houston, what does that look like? And how do you determine what is a legend and what is somebody that's current for the time? Because you got to remember, with music specifically, or anything, there's always going to be people that are popping at that particular time. But what is going to keep them around to be played in 20, 30 years? Like you play a Marvin Gaye record or you listen to a Luther Vandross record and it still hits home. So that would be something else good. I'm just dropping that on and I would be interested to hear you guys.
I'm gonna give you a prime example right here, right now. Anywhere we can go in Houston, if you play Zero's Mo City Dawn, everybody is dropping them.
That's our anthem.
That's exactly. You play it like, I'm like, if anything, if you look at, if you look at everything that Travis Scott's dropped, maybe Sicko Mode might be the one that survives, but what else?
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you look like UGK, we know International Players Anthem are gonna be around for a hot minute, and that's one of their newer songs. That's not even their OG stuff, you know. So, you know, like the term legend is definitely thrown around too easily.
Right.
Like, you know, somebody like now Snoop Dogg, that's different. That's a Hall of Famer. That's legendary. This man done been in multiple decades dropping hits. You know, like those that's where you want to drop your legends, your cats like that. You know, UGK, they've been around for a long time. You know, like that's different. Travis Scott is part of the now.
Right.
So it looks like we're at that less than a minute mark, Michael. So let's not get cut off like we did in the first interview.
So you're right. Hey man, I just want to say thank you for coming on, bro. I love you. I'm very proud of what you're doing with Ascension. # choose to ascend.
I like it. Yeah, definitely appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a great interview. I enjoyed listening to you, learning some things. I done absorbed some shit that I gotta, you know what I'm saying, make a couple of adjustments now. I'm like, okay, I can get down with this.
I appreciate you guys.
Keep us posted on the changes, all the upcoming events, man. And hey man, like I said, we appreciate you.
All right, you guys remember choose to ascend and check out our website, www.ascensionlifestyleconsulting.com. It was a pleasure, you guys. Enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.